The Civic FD2 Type R is what we all know as the most hardcore Type R model to ever be released from factory. Spiritually, it was designed and built to be a track-focused performance car with the daily drivability of a Civic. While that recipe may sound common through what other manufacturers promise of their performance saloons, so I guess Honda really meant what they said when it came to the FD2R. The year was 2007 and the Type R name was a little adulterated thanks to keeping it soft for the European market. Fanboys everywhere were completely unhappy and Honda knew this, which gave them a little bit of an opportunity. With the FD2R, on the outlook is, well, camouflage. It looked like just about any other Civic, but from factory it had most of the sound deadening removed. The car came with strengthening bars and for the chassis and as well as 4-port Brembo brakes for a bit of braking power. In fact, even the tires were custom to the car to fit for the best performance that the car can deliver. This is definitely something serious and Honda really wanted to mean business with the FD2R. It's no secret that the Japanese love to keep their special models JDM only, and there's no difference right here with the FD2R. Production ran for around 4 years and they only made about 13,500 units, which were very limited in numbers actually for the FD2R. Now, people, fanboys everywhere will live it because they really wanted a piece of the FD2R action. And in the late 2000s, when the tuners in Japan were toying around with the FD chassis and the K20A underneath, going to track and tuning them, a lot of the fanboys were even going crazier because they really wanted one right in the tips of their finger. But fun fact, did you know that Malaysia is the only country outside of Japan to receive the FD2R officially? That's right, how lucky are we, right? Considering neighboring countries like Indonesia and Thailand are going crazy to get a piece of this action. They are even converting their stock FDs into Type R replicas by buying crashed up cars from Malaysia and even Japan to convert them into a replica. How lucky are we? Well, of course, today the price of an FD2R is slowly going up. You can still get one for around 120 to around 130,000 ringgit, when at new it was only 199k out of Honda Malaysia showroom. Now, there must be a reason why people are going so crazy and lusting after this FD2R. And to be honest, it's all down to the way this thing drives. It's the chassis mixed together with the engine makes the FD2R just a purebred driver's car and a proper modern classic. There is always a speck of romance when it comes to the FD2R. I'm always puzzled how a sedan like this can be so stiff out of factory. The whole translation of the way this thing was built out of factory, the recipe was very simple. You'd think that a lot of the manufacturers actually offer the same thing, but there is just something different about the way an FD2R drives. Though it's so stiff, steering is just absolute symphony. Every time I step into an FD2R, I always find that that's the best part about an FD. It's always the steering. Yes, the chassis is stiff, but that's all part of the Type R charm. You know what? It doesn't really matter. It really translates to all the balance of performance that you truly want as a driver out of a car. And that K20A is just so complete. 220 horsepower, everything just comes alive when VTEC kicks at 5,700 RPM. You know, that's just that's just the complete charm of an FD2R, and every time I find myself stepping into it again, I always fall in love with it. The JDM market is now treated like a gold mine. Before, where only the true classics from the likes of rare sports cars and supercars were the gemstones, now Japanese imports are being played like stocks. And cars like the FD2R sits right up there in the most sought after list. It is truly a sensational car, and it's sad thinking how unlikely it is for us to experience a Type R as raw and as visceral as this again moving forward in the future.